items that are on the agenda. Does anybody have any questions or comments from the board? Okay. Ready for the superintendent's report?
Paragraph 7, excuse me, presented tonight is the school safety.
Hold on. We have to do an approval of minutes. Sorry about that. We have to do approval of, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the November 20th, 2017 regular board meeting. Do we have a motion for that?
So moved.
And all in favor? Okay. There's not really an ad hoc outdoor space. There's a couple of appointments for bond people, engineers, and architects that will be in the buildings and grounds report. But other than that, I think we took care of that last. We took care of approving it last month, and we're moving towards it this month with a couple of activities. So now the superintendent.
Okay, so your enrollment, you'll see enrollment you're up over last year. About 40 students over last year, November 2016, at the end of last month. School safety drill report and suspension reports are attached, as is the CEAG, the anti-bullying report attached for the month of December.
Okay, and then I think we go on to the
Business administrator's report, board secretary's report. Budget transfers are all within the 10% limit allowed by the state of New Jersey, so there are no concerns there. Financially, in terms of cash, we are in good shape. Food service financials and purchase orders and our warrant account statements are all listed there.
Okay, so this moves us to paragraph 10. Mrs. McCarthy, would you please give us the buildings, grounds, and finance committee report?
The Finance, Buildings, and Grounds Committee reviews all financial statements, purchase orders, and warrants on a monthly basis. The committee also reviews and approves all contracts with outside service providers and oversees all maintenance and capital improvement projects district-wide. In 10.01, we have the committee goals. In 10.02, we have approval of transfers. 10.03 is the board secretary's certification of no over expenditures. 10.04 is the board's certification of no over expenditures. In 10.05, we have the approval of the secretary and treasurer reports. 10.06 is approval of the student activities report. 10.07 is the approval of the food services financial statement. 10.08 is the purchase orders, and 10.09 is the warrants. In 10.10, we have the recommendation for the Collingswood and Oakland Senate seat resolution. In 10.11, we have a resolution for the auxiliary and remedial services for the non-public students. 10.12, we have the Kennedy Health Services substance abuse screening appointment. In 10.13, we have the 2018 IDEA amended staff salaries. In 10.14, we have the IDEA basic amended application. In 10.15, we have appointment of Remington and Vernon for the district engineers. In 10.16, we have the appointment of Manaman, Scotland, and Bowman. In 10.17, we have the Phoenix advisors for our financial advisors. In 10.18, we have the archery summer program. In 10.19, we have the 18-19 pre-K tuitions. And 10.20, we have related checks. 10.21, 22, 23, 24, and that's it, are use of facilities. So we're looking for approval of 10.01 to 10.24.
Could we have a motion for that? And in the comments and questions, I'd like Dr. Oswald to give us a little background on couple of changes and on, I think, I'd say in the years that I've been on the board, this is the most monumental thing that I think we've ever approved. And that's the Oakland Collingswood Center C resolution. And I think Dr. Oswald has any clarifications on it.
Okay, just a couple updates from last month. I told you, I think, last month, these are a couple of the same slides from last month, but I've done some updates. I've added some updates too, so I'm going to point out the changes that we made. So the change right here on this slide is not really a change, but what we've looked at over the last month is really getting down to the nuts and bolts of moving the students, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade students from Oakland over to our middle school and high school. Staff that will be required, where that staff is going to come from, how much they get paid, what their benefits cost, all those types of things. So what we worked with before, as I said last month, were really very broad numbers and estimates. Now that it looked as of last month that the boards and the communities were supportive, we actually got down into hammering out some numbers and looking through every single staff member, a list of every single staff member in the Oakland district. So if this is approved, if this agreement is approved tonight and then tomorrow evening in Oakland, Oakland pays Collingswood a tuition amount over 5 years, each of 5 years, of $1.537 million. That number has gone up a little bit, and I'm going to show you in the next slide why. 2018-19, everything else on here is the same. The only thing on this slide that has changed are that $1.537 million. And this $525,000 net increase to Collingswood, which is our net from this agreement, that really changed because over the last month we received approval from the Department of Education to increase the number of choice seats we have in our middle school and high school. As a result, we added those choice seats on to the 400 and some, I forget the exact number, 435 or 45 that was there last month. So that's what brought that number up. Everything else in that slide should be identical to last month. Here are some things that have changed. From the Oakland, as we went through the Oakland schedule and the list of teachers in Oakland, we actually went down every individual teacher and slotted them potentially into a position for next year. That let, in Oakland, there were 7 junior high school teachers, 2 6th grade teachers, a health phys ed teacher, 4 special education teachers. Last month, that said half of a counselor. Now we moved that up to the full counselor in Oakland. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then half of a music teacher. This is, I'll explain that in a second. So in Oakland, we are actually going to remove the entire music teacher from Oakland, hire her in Collingswood, and then send her back to Oakland as a for part-time. So you'll see that also, that half music also on the next slide. So this is the Oakland staff. What we're going to do in Oakland, right now Oakland has a counselor that's in the building full-time. Because for an elementary school, a counselor does not do things like college preparation and schedule changes and all those things that a secondary counselor does. We're going to go with a social worker in Oakland. We already have a social worker on staff there. We're going to increase our time in the building. In addition to the social worker, Dr. Whitehouse is in the building every day. Mr. Yamamoto is in the building every day. Ms. Bolden, the principal in Oakland, is in the building every day. And they will now be there for a K-5 school. So there is going to be less demand on those people as well by not having the junior high school students there, or middle school students there, I'm sorry. So we think that we are well staffed in the area providing support services to those students. And then here's the numbers in Collingswood, which have increased just a bit. Social studies, science, health phys ed, math have stayed the same. The special education position last month was 1. We're now increasing that to 2 to provide us with a little bit of flexibility in Collingswood. The 1 additional teacher is coming from Oakland, so that's just somebody who's sliding over from Oakland to be in Collingswood. The ELA's English Language Arts, we're increasing that from a half to a full-time position in the middle school. So that's an increase of a half a position. Half the Spanish was the same last month. 1 counselor last month was a half of a counselor. We're going to increase that to a full counselor. And then there's that half music position that you saw from the last slide. So the music teacher, there will be 1 music teacher who will be split between Collingswood Middle School and the Oakland School. So she'll continue to teach music in Oakland. And they will receive all the same, those students will receive all the same services that they do today. Last month we had a question about some of the numbers. Over the next 5 years, if we do nothing, the average student to teacher ratio in Collingswood Middle School will 10.84 students for each teacher. In Oakland, it was 10.64 for each teacher. If we move the two schools together, put the two groups together and add those additional teachers that I just showed you, we're at 11.25 students per teacher. The state average right now is somewhere around 12. It's actually a little bit north of 12. So while ours increases a bit, the state average, we still remain below the state average. I don't believe I changed anything on this slide. This is after tomorrow evening, if we both boards approve this resolution, these are the steps that we will take. I have talked to the association folks in Oakland, and they have recommended, and I agree, that once we begin to move forward with this, we let their folks are going to know as soon as they possibly can. Legally, we don't have to do it until April 15th. We're not going to wait that long. They will know very shortly. And then the rest of it, so that notification to staff, you can move over all the way to January, and maybe even before we break the winter break. That's what we're looking at in the rest of the timelines, and those are the couple changes. So nothing that really changes the numbers per se, except that choice aid, which is big. It's good news for us as that's a big step. Questions? Nothing changes.
Any other questions or comments about any of the other items on the resolution?
Okay, which specific agenda items are for the state?
It would be
Is it
10.17, I believe, 10.16 and 10.15.
15, 16?
This is the annual implement, right?
That's not
Is that
specific to the same one?
Remington and Bronick is, we only appoint an engineer when we are having a project. We have a project that involves an engineer.
And so 15, 16. Phoenix Advisors?
Yes, that's what bond is.
17 is the Phoenix.
Phoenix Advisors are your financial advisors.
For this stadium?
Yes.
For them?
So 15, 16, 17 are directly related to the...
Yes.
I think this would be important to share from the finance committee when that all was looked at. That then did go out, she probably explained it right. She did go out to a number of companies. In one area, we would receive one back, and the others we received at least 2 or 3. And she had a very detailed spreadsheet where she went through and established criteria that rated every one of them in regards to the position. So the people that are selected here were selected from being rated among 2 or 3 others who got it. And I thought it was a very thorough process and very explained.
Yeah, so they put an RFP on the street, so they were winning the bid.
It's my understanding those all need to be in place prior to the state allowing us to move forward with this, so that when that does come forward, we have proper people there to help us engage the bond.
Any other questions or comments about Livingston grant financing? We have a roll call, please.
Dr. Becker,
Yes.
Mrs. Dietz.
Yes.
Mrs. Henry,
Yes.
Mrs. Caden, Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Poole,
Yes.
Mr. Wall.
Yes, except for 1015, 1016, and 1017, because I do not support the stadium project.
So is that abstain or no?
It's no.
And Mr. Howard.
Yes. Moving on to paragraph 11, the curriculum committee. Ms. Henry, please give us the curriculum committee report.
The curriculum committee oversees and approves district curriculum and the assessment programs, as well as field trips, home instruction, co-curricular programs, and school calendar. Very brief this month. 11.02 through 11.04 are elementary, middle school, and high school field trips, including the overnight annual senior trip to Orlando, Florida trip. And 11.05 are out of district and home instruction placements due to medical issues.
So do we have a motion to approve items 11.01 to 11.05? Okay. Any questions or comments about curriculum items? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Okay. Dr. Becker, sorry.
Yes.
Mrs. Deeds.
Yes.
Mrs. Henry.
Yes.
Mrs. Kate.
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Poole.
Yes.
Mr. Wall.
Yes.
And Mr. Hansel.
Yes. Can we note that our BA, Mrs. Coleman, is missed at this point?
Yes, she is.
Okay. Ms. Dees, will you please give us the personnel committee report?
Personnel Committee reviews all recommendations for teaching and staff.
My foot.
Consider
We don't want to be
So
screwed.
I'm looking for approval for. So again, Personnel Committee reviews all recommendations for teaching and staff employment, considers co-curricular employment, and considers all professional development opportunities for staff members. So we'll start with 2.02 and 3 are retirements within the district, and we thank both individuals for their years of service. We have 2.04 FMLA, 2.05 we have a revised contract. Yes. 12.
12.
Do I have to go back and review all that? Okay. I apologize. 12.06 elementary long-term sub and 12.07 the same. 12.08 is additional hours for an instructional assistant. 12.09 homework club, a revised rate for that. 12.10 and 12.11 are some non-athletic stipends. 12.12 is student practicum placements. 12.13 are a list of subs and tutors. 12.14 is our travel expense form. And so tonight I will be looking for approval for 12.01 to 12.13.
And do we have a motion for that? Does anybody have any questions or comments about personnel items? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Dr. Becker.
Yes.
Mrs. Deeds.
Yes.
Mrs. Henry.
Yes.
Mrs. Kate.
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Poole.
Yes.
Mr. Wall.
Yes.
Mr. Hansel.
Yes. Dr. Rosen, do you have anything to report under policy miscellaneous?
And 1301 is just the HIV report from last month and our second reading on that.
So this is our second and final public participation section. I'm sorry. Do we have a motion to approve item 13?
Wait a minute, someone's here.
Do we have a motion to approve item 13.01?
Yes.
Does anybody have questions or comments about item 13.01? Do we have a roll call, please?
Dr. Becker.
Yes.
Mrs. Deeds.
Yes.
Mrs. Henry.
Yes.
Mrs. Kate.
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Poole.
Yes.
Mr. Wall.
Yes.
And Mr. Hansel.
Yes. Okay, now we're down to paragraph 14, our final public participation of the night. Please stand and state your name and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. Does anybody have any questions or comments to the board? Okay. I have one more comment. It won't take long. This is
I can break this down.
you don't have to write this down. I just, this is our last meeting of the year. We have a reorganization coming up. I want to thank Mrs. Dietz for, this is her last meeting as a board member. I'm happy for all the years she put into the board and the many years of volunteering before the board. She's going to be replaced by Kim Brooks, who it's very fitting because Kim Brooks is a very active volunteer in the community and in the school, and she's going to bring a whole nice set of attributes to the board. I'm looking forward to working with her. We're going to have new board leadership. I'm not looking to be nominated for a board leadership position next year. I'll be on the board as of now for 1 more year. I don't intend to stay on the board after that. So we got a lot of things to work on next year, like as a board. We've got the outdoor enrichment. We have to make a smooth transition with the Oak Lane kids coming into our district. We have teacher negotiations coming up. I'm not going to say anything good about the teachers right now, even though I think they're kind of good. Because I've got to get my negotiating posture ready. Of course, we have the budget coming up. And I guess just in general, like over the years on the board, we had like a two-pronged method of straining every decision that we make. And that would be the first is, does this decision help improve student achievement? And the only way we are going to vote yes is if it does. And second underlying principle is, are we doing this in the most cost-effective manner? And sometimes we stray off course by worrying about things that aren't directly related to student achievement or aren't directly related to doing things in the most cost-effective manner. And I just want to remind, this is something that's been talked about for like my whole 12 years on the board, and I think it's something that needs reinforcement. And I'm looking forward to really working with everybody who are leaders next year to have a really productive year next year. So that's my tracking. So can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?